Sorry, guys, I got kicked out. So let's see here. Let's give it a few minutes. I see. Okay. I was wondering, I got kicked out, so the internet kicked me out and I had to pop back in. So I'm gonna give it a few minutes for people to kind of come in. Ron, how are you? Oh my God, it's been a minute. How have you been? So I'm gonna put one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link for the tickets in the chat, so that you guys can see, if you want to pop in here, you can. Um, but I don't know if you guys have saw, but I put a post, I think it was sometime last week, on the workshop that I'm doing. And that workshop is on April 30th. It's a two-parter, right? And one is the intimacy box. And I don't know if you guys have followed me for a long enough time to know that the intimacy box that I discuss all the time is the love, respect, trust, safety, and that whole box is connected through compassionate communication. Um, and so I decided to do a workshop on that, as well as the crayon theory. Now, the crayon theory is really interesting because I do that with a lot of my clients. And one of my friends said, I think you should so kind of teach it to everybody. So the good thing is that the virtual workshops are $97 a workshop, right? Which is less because it's from 10 to 12 on the 30th. And then the second part is the crayon theory, which is also 10 to 12. And it is $97, which is less than what you would pay for a one-on-one session with me at 125 per hour. So you're actually kind of saving, um, basically 125, basically $150 by coming to a workshop. Now, you can get a bundle deal, right? That offer is where you get two workshops for 150, which is still a 4-hour block of time with me at only 150, when usually it's minimum of $125 an hour just for one-on-one. Now, it will be virtual and it will be a group session, right? So there'll be multiple people in there. But the first one, April 30th, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, that will be the intimacy box. And the second one will be the following week, which is May 7th. And if you attend the one on April 30th, you will get homework if you're coming to the one on May 7th. So there'll be a couple of different things to see. Dawn, you said please send me the links when you've completed. The link is in this chat, but I can definitely send it to you um, via DM. Dawn, if you want, you can send me a message on LinkedIn, but it's also on one of the posts that I put on my profile, I think sometime last week. The crayon theory, which is on May 7th, it's 10 to 12, right? That kind of talks about, it's the understanding of your attachment style. It's the understanding of your love language and how how we date intentionally, or how we evolve and grow in our relationships intentionally, by understanding the structure and the self concept of ourselves and of others, which I like to call the value system. And with understanding who you are and what you value, it'll help you identify and be able to communicate effectively and be clear when talking to someone else about what it is that they want, so that you're welcome, Don, so that you guys have an understanding of what it is that you're both looking for. So here's an example that I like to give, which is, for me, if I identify as a red crayon, right? And I am looking for purple love. I have done the work to figure out what my value system is, what my love languages are, what my attachment style is, what I value, what matters, what's important, what my non-negotiables are, um, where I'm willing to compromise, and what that love looks like. What exactly in my partnership, in my relationship, is it that I'm interested in and I'm looking for? And really, I'll work through all of my stuff, right? Figuring out, where does love come from? What's my idea of love? What's the structure of that? How did I learn love? And going through the motions without giving too much detail, but going through the motions of truly knowing and understanding who you are, your self concept, your value structure, what you value and what matters to you, and how to be able to identify that in yourself so that you can identify it in someone else. And at the end of that, it lets me know, okay, well, hey, I require purple love, right? So when I'm out in the world and I'm dating, or I'm interested in someone else, then the questions that I'm going to ask, the communication, the intentional, clear communication that I'm going to offer, is going to be the questions that will get me to the end results of, are you a blue crayon? And are you not only just a blue crayon, but are you a blue crayon that is also looking for purple love? Or are you a blue crayon who wants green love? Because if so, right, then that means I'm not going to shape shift myself to become a yellow crayon, because I've already identified that I am red, to shape shift into something else, to be something that you're not for someone else. At the end of the day, if a blue crayon is interested in green love, no matter what you do, you'll always be red, which means you're going to end up with green, right? Because blue and yellow make green, but blue and red make purple. I don't know um, if that makes sense, but that is what I will be teaching. That's kind of the theory of what I'll be teaching and the basis of it. In regards to the intimacy box, the importance of that is really understanding compassionate communication, right? So the structure that Ron Lewis is interesting. Exactly. Like, a lot of people spend so much time shape shifting and compromising in areas that kind of hinder who it is that they are. And instead of flourishing in who you are and recognizing who you are and being able to clearly identify who you are, right? It helps you identify and go out into the world and see exactly what you want, exactly who you're interested in, right? That makes clear sense. I am a red crayon. I want purple love. There's no way that when I'm dating somebody and I'm interested in them, right, it doesn't matter what I try to make them to be. It doesn't matter if you change the wrapping of it, right? Internally, if you are yellow, right, then you're yellow. I can send you to therapy. I can talk you to death. I can romanticize what I'd like you to be, but I have to be able to accept who you are, which is yellow crayon. That means that no matter what happens, how much time I spend with you, pouring into you, trying to change you, we're always going to produce orange love, because who you are is yellow, who I am is red, right? But what I want, what I need, what I value, my love language, my attachment style, all of that at the end of the day is going to be purple love. And so that is what I'm going to teach. There's a whole structure to that. And I give questionnaires. There's lots of homework when it comes to that workshop. And it's 2 hours of complete interaction. And it's a process that I go through with you, and we'll all do it, together. And I'll teach you how to communicate effectively. And the reason why I think it's important to do the first one on April 30th, which is the intimacy box, right, is into me, see, right? So understanding intimacy starts with self. And like I said, love requires respect. Respect requires trust. Trust requires safety. And that box, in order to have that, it requires compassionate communication. And when you are offering compassionate communication and compassionate love, which is primary love, right? And Don Watson, okay, I'll talk to you soon, Don. Dwayne, hi, Dwayne. I see you, amazing and great, uplifting words of wisdom. Thank you. I hope to see you, Dwayne, at the workshop, sir. But the reason why intimacy is as important as that entire structure, that box is important, is in order to offer someone primary love, you have to allow somebody to feel emotionally safe enough that they can communicate and be forthcoming and be transparent as themselves, right? Without fear of judgment, without fear of condemnation for you, right? Because if not, then the person that you are going to be conversing with, right? You'll be talking to their representative, and they're never going to feel safe enough to show you who they truly are. And you cannot be intimate with someone that you can't see. You can't be intimate with someone that you are not willing to show who you really are to them, right? But a safety has to be created, right? You have to be committed to understanding someone and the levels of who they are and the layers of who they are. And in order to know that, they have to be able to feel safe enough to communicate that with you and to share that with you. And once they feel safe enough to share that with you and talk to you about those things and get to know you, and you get to know them in a deep, intimate kind of way, now we start to go backwards. Now we have compassionate communication. We offer primary love. We are committed to understanding them. We are committed to knowing them and allowing them to be themselves, right? And they can emotionally develop in the safe space that we have created for them. And when you can do that, now you have trust. I can trust someone that I feel safe with, right? I can respect someone that I can trust because they've created a space of safety for me, that now I can be forthcoming. I can be who I am in all versions of who I am, right? Without fear of being shamed or guilted or judged or humiliated, or all of the things that come with making people want to shrink or hide or perform. You don't want someone to perform, to give you a performance. You want someone to feel like the exposure of their challenges, the exposure of what they feel might be weaknesses, the story of who they are, right? They can be that to you. And now you have safety, you have trust. I can respect someone that I can trust, right? And now I can respect you, I trust you, I feel safe with you. Then the love comes, right? And sometimes it doesn't necessarily even have to be romantic love. The romantic love can be built off of this intimacy box. I have a lot of friends that I feel I'm intimate with. I can have this intimacy box with people that I have strong friendships and connections with, right? We have a level of an intimacy box. But when I am looking to be in a relationship, right, then that intimacy box is just on a deeper level. What I share and then you have affection, a type of affection that, goes hand in hand with that level of intimacy. Ron, this is truth. It really is true. And there's so many people, even if you're in a relationship, right? Your intimacy level sometimes changes, right? As you grow, as you evolve at what the things that you thought you wanted, the habits that you have, they evolve and you're allowed to change, but you need to be able to change in your box. You should feel safe enough to grow and evolve and change and shift, you know, in the evolution of who you are. We're not meant to necessarily stay the same, right? But the amount of intimacy that is offered should remain consistent, right? And that communication needs to be consistent. And it's important that someone can feel like they can emotionally develop, you know, within the confines of the containers that you set and that you create for them. So, are there any questions about, if you have any questions, put it in the chat box about the workshops. There's going to be questionnaires, there's downloadable worksheets. I am doing a promo offer. So, usually, like I said, if you're doing a one-on-one session with me, it's usually $125 an hour. But if you buy a bundle and you do both the intimacy workshop and the crayon theory workshop, which I think go hand in hand, because what I'm going to do is we're going to break down what emotions are. We're going to break down how to be emotionally intelligent so that you can have an emotionally healthy relationship, right? And how being emotionally intelligent and understanding the emotions and also understanding what your emotional filters are, how you communicate effectively and how you communicate compassionately, right? All of those go hand in hand. So I highly recommend doing both of those. And if you do both of them, and then you decide that you want to do one-on-one workshops and one-on-one sessions with me, then you get a deal of $25 off your first two sessions. So you're basically really getting a good deal, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to stay on here very long. I really just wanted to kind of break down what these workshops are, what they consist of. Like I said, in the first one, we will break down the intimacy box, right? Understanding our emotions, understanding how to communicate our emotions, understanding how our thoughts affect our feelings, how our feelings affect the actions, and how our actions affect our outcome, and how the emotional filters impact the way we listen and comprehend, right? Because I always say that it's important that when you hear somebody, that you're actually listening to them. You're not hearing just for sound. You're listening to comprehend. You're listening to understand. And sometimes when we are listening to people, we are listening with our emotional filters, right? And those emotional filters are the past experiences that you've had, right, that come into the situation that you're in. So when someone is talking to you, you listen to respond versus listen to understand, because you automatically get triggered, right? Because you're listening through your filters. And some of the things that the other person is saying to you sounds familiar, like what someone else said to you, right? And instead of giving them a fair opportunity to express something similar but uniquely different, because it's being expressed through who they are, right? You're listening through all your filters and you don't really get the opportunity to understand and really comprehend where this person is coming from, because 10 people, right, can go through the same situation and have 10 completely different experiences. And so we're going to really break that down in the workshop as well, how you do that, how that's possible, what that looks like, right? And then once you do that, then it helps with the compassionate yet effective communication, which is needed and required in order for you to create the type of safety that offers and extends the grace and the forgiveness and the kindness and the patience in order to allow somebody to feel safe with you, right? And the important thing is, you know me, I'm always vouching and pushing for self-love, right? And loving yourself first. The intimacy that we're going to work on is the intimacy that we have with ourselves. Before we get to work on, a box with someone else, I really am going to spend the first, 10 to 15 minutes of the workshop focusing, or maybe more, focusing on the relationship and the intimacy that we have with ourselves, and how filling that box allows for the overspill of that to benefit, other people, because you can't offer and extend to someone that you're not offering and extending necessarily to yourself, right? And even though our needs and our wants and our desires are different, right, to have a clear understanding of compassion, of love, of patience, of kindness, and understanding what it is that you require, right? You'll never be able to extend it in a way without, aggressively judging or being quick tempered with somebody else. So that's the importance of doing that first workshop. And then the second one is understanding, once you know how to communicate, once you know what intimacy is, once you know how to have it with yourself, once you feel like you're comfortable enough to be able to offer that to somebody else, then the second portion is the crayon theory, so that we can figure out how to actively participate in the understanding and learning of someone that we're trying to be in a relationship, or someone that we're trying to date, or someone that we are, trying to build a relationship with. And that could even be a friendship, right? The crayon theory, it doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic relationship. It can be for your friendships as well. And even sometimes for your family. Really understanding who you want to be in close proximity to you, who you allow access, to your inner circle, and who you are. So that really is it. And it's 10:30, so I was only going to be on here for about half an hour. I will save this. So if you have any additional questions, by all means, please feel free to drop it in the comments. And I hope to see you there. You can go on my website and register. If you are signed up to the newsletter, I'm going to be offering a lot of promos and discount codes once a week up until the end of the month. And really just stay tuned. I'm excited to see you guys there. I think that you guys will learn a lot and benefit a lot, because a lot of times we don't focus on, the foundations and the principles to what it is that we want, and all of our past experiences that are not healed truly, truly, truly affect um, the relationships that we have moving forward. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you at the workshop. Bye.